when I'm at home. My computer and my phone and my watch.
It is, but it's not the...
Completely different times.
I don't exceed their authority. Big ones.
I don't get the printed, so
That's the...
Recording in progress.
Hey, let's see how this goes.
Welcome, everybody, to the Ferndale City Council meeting of Monday, July 12th. I welcome everybody here with a ceremonial blast.
Oh, my gosh.
Welcome back to the City Council chambers after 16 months.
Is that a vuvuzela?
It is a vuvuzela, a plastic toy one. So welcome back, everybody. It's great to be here. It's great to have City Council in person and our audience members. So with that, let's actually stand to the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance, and in unison. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember James?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Leaks May?
Here.
Councilmember Mikulski?
Here.
Councilmember Polika?
here.
And Mayor Piano.
Here. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the agenda as published with one minor amendment, which is to add, if he so desires, a presentation by County Commissioner as 5B, and everything following 5B would be renumbered.
Support. Hey, Councilmember James?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Leaks May?
Yes.
Councilmember Mikulski?
Yes.
Councilmember Polika?
Yes.
And Mayor Piano.
Yes. And next is the reminder of our electronic meeting procedures, and I just want to let everybody know that we are doing a hybrid public meeting tonight where council is in the chambers, and those who wish to call in for public comment can do so by phone or Zoom, and staff are also joining us for those who need to by also via Zoom. And this is allowed until the end of the year by state legislation.
Through the chair,
Yeah.
through council's resolution regarding.
Yes, council, yes. Modified process, so thank you. And I also want to let people know that the hybrid process with the video cameras is also going to look a little different. And Joe, can you mention that real quick, how that's going to function?
Sure, yeah. Actually, the audience might see a more panned out version of council. You'll see less of a face-to-face focus, profile focus. We have more restrictions on production abilities, I'd say, with the hybrid meeting. The other change is organizational. We're going to recommend that we take public comment first for in-house attendees, and then once we're done cycling through in-house attendees, we can move through our Zoom public comment to organize it.
Okay, thank you. And then also new for the in-chambers is a new public comment sort of clock that was was requested by a resident actually before the pandemic started. We have been waiting to use it. But there also is a public comment 3-minute clock that was also implemented at our last council meeting via Zoom. So if you're giving public comment on Zoom, you're going to see that. But we will also be monitoring here in the council chambers as well. So please be patient with us. We are trying to figure out the hybrid model, as this is our first time doing it really in live person. So if there's technical difficulties, we will definitely figure them out as we go. So thank you for your patience. All right, so first up on the presentation is the proclamation honoring the life and service of former Councilman Mike Lennon. Very sorry to hear that our friend and community leader has passed, and we invite his family to make comments, and we have a proclamation here that I would like to read first, and then we invite you to the podium to share a story or comments about our friend Mike. This is a resolution of honoring Michael B. Lennon for his service as member of City Council and Ferndale Police Officer. At a regular meeting of the Ferndale City Council held July 12, 2021, in the council chambers at City Hall, 300 East 9 Mile Road, Ferndale, Michigan, the following resolution was moved and seconded. Mayor Melly Piana, on behalf of the Ferndale City Council, extends the city's condolences to the family of Michael Lennon and honors his dedicated service to the city of Ferndale as a member of the City Council from 2004 through 2015. Michael Lennon served the city as a Ferndale police officer for 25 years and then carried his family's legacy of service to the community during his 3 terms on City Council, or 12 years. His commitment was evident in the effort he put forth to understand the complex issues facing the city and making educated decisions as a conscientious guardian of the city's resources. He leaves a legacy of being a hardworking steward for the residents of Ferndale. Mike Lennon was a credit to this community and will long be fondly remembered. It is with heartfelt sympathy that we mourn his passing and extend the city's gratitude for his 12 years of dedicated service as a member of the Ferndale City Council and 25 years protecting the community and its residents, officer of the Ferndale Police Department. So I'm yes, please join the podium. I'm so glad that you're here.
Yes.
To talk about
Thank
your
you.
dad
Yeah.
and your brother.
I appreciate everything. I don't necessarily have a particular story to share or anything, but this means a lot. Words cannot express how grateful I am. My brother, on behalf of him, he couldn't be here. But the love and support that we've gained from you guys up here, from everyone in the community, he would be very thankful to know the community he cared so much about, cared so much in return. And just thank you so much. It means the world.
Tara's being very modest. Her brother, Mike's son Ryan, had to fly back to the Middle East where he's defending our country. As Mike's brother, obviously, as Tara said, I want to thank the city of Ferndale and the Ferndale Police Department for what they did for the services with the honor guard, the police escort. Our family will be forever indebted. Thank you kindly.
And I have this proclamation for you. Before we move on, I was going to open it up to council members if you wanted to say a couple comments about our friend Mike, or a short story that you may have that brings to your mind about Mike's public service.
Well, I would just like to say that it was an honor to work with Mike. I was only able to work with him for 2 years on council, but he was a very smart man. He was hilarious. He could be really, really funny. And I've known him for a number of years, but working those 2 years on council with him, I saw a different side of him. And he is, was dedicated to the city. 25 years as a police officer, 12 years, on council. But your whole family, the whole Lennon family, and dedicated to this city. Your grandfather was a mayor. Your brother and uncle, Dave, was a councilman himself. You have a family, legacy of serving this community. And it's a huge loss, Mike's passing. So my condolences, and I wish you all well and speedy recovery through this sadness.
And I just wanted to say that I'm not sure Mike knew what to do with me when I first got on council, but he was a fantastic teammate. And, I always say every council member comes to the council dais with their strengths. And mine's city planning, but not police and fire. And so Mike was sort of my guru guide on council of understanding how police departments function and work, and where things could change. And he was a visionary in that way too, about where police departments can change, because he also helped contribute to those votes to bring the department forward, because he had so much knowledge and experience in the department. And I'm forever grateful for that type of insights when you're a council member. He will be very, very missed, but I know that wherever I'm in Ferndale, I can hear Mike Lennon's voice in my head saying, "Keep it short, Melanie." So so with that, it's a tribute to Mike. Thank you.
If I may, through the chair. So I knew, before I got on council, I knew of Mike, and I knew of the legacy that his family had, and all the service his family had given to the city of Ferndale. And as I was running for council as a newbie, I said, man, would it be great to have his endorsement for, because of all the service that he's had and the respect that he has. So I remember reaching out to him via Facebook, and I was like, I don't really know him. He doesn't know me. Why would he endorse me? So I sent him a message, and then after about a day, I didn't hear from him, so I erased it. Well, I thought I erased it on Facebook, on Messenger. And all I know is that the day after that, he responded back. He said, I don't see the message anymore, but I suspect that you were asking for my endorsement. And I said, yes, I was. And I was just honored to have it. And as I said at the viewing, to you, your daughter, I said that he gave a lot to the city, just a legacy, and I just had great respect for him, as did the community. So my condolences to the family, and be proud of what he gave. We are.
And then finally, council needs to vote on that proclamation?
Through the chair, that would be appropriate. Ask for unanimous support.
May we have unanimous support for this proclamation?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is our County Commissioner, Charlie Cavell. Thank you for joining us in person today.
It's nice to be here with you all. I wore shorts in the Zoom meetings, and I thought I'd just keep it up. Hi everybody, I'm our County Commissioner for the 18th District and a Ferndale resident. So I just want to give a quick update of what we've been doing up in Pontiac. So first I'll talk about some cool things that I see on the agenda that Ferndale's been doing. Second, I'll give a quick COVID update. And third, I'll talk about what we got coming up. So first, awesome to see item 8I, the Tri-Party Road Commission. That's awesome that Ferndale's getting $55,000 from the county for this. Our predecessor, Helene Zach, was one of the starters of this program, so it's good to see it moving forward and glad Ferndale's taking advantage of it. Second, I saw on the website the equity updates happening. That's very cool that you didn't just do a blue ribbon committee, but that you're following through on it and making changes and improvements. That's awesome to see. Rock on, Ferndale. Second, COVID. So right now, the county is offering a $50 gift card up until everyone gets to 70% vaccinated. So right now in Oakland County, 62% of our residents are fully vaccinated, and 67% have had the first shot. So if you're looking to get a $50 gift card from your government, act now, because we want to give you $50 to get the vaccine, and the number is narrowing. So if you have questions about the vaccine or how to get the gift card, call, text, email me, and I can leave my info with the clerk. And then the last thing I'll say about upcoming on the agenda in the next committee and full board cycle, the county commission will be working on body cameras for the sheriff's office. So we'll be fulfilling a contract. This has been a multi-year process, so we'll finally be putting the finishing touches on it to actualize this process. That'll be a big deal. Second, the county is starting to do ARP study groups, so that's all the COVID relief dollars, the American Rescue Plan. So if anyone has thoughts or opinions about what should be done with all that money, the county is getting $244 million to spend over the next 5 years, but allocate over 3 years. We've already started a childcare study group. We're beginning a housing study group, and we're definitely talking a lot about infrastructure, so would love to hear your input. But also to the broader public, would love to hear what everyone else has to say about ARP money, and also budget season is upon the county government. So hopefully we can follow Ferndale's lead and get it done quick and easy and collaboratively. But if not, please give us a call with your opinions. Again, I can give my number to the clerk to hear your thoughts.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council? Thank you, Commissioner, for being here and giving us an update.
Thank you.
Moving on to 5C, we have a proclamation recognizing the achievement of Ferndale VFW 1407 status as an all-American program. So we have two people joining us at the podium to help present this. And the proclamation will be read by Councilmember Polika.
I can read the proclamation first. Okay. Resolution honoring Ferndale veterans of foreign wars post 1407 on attaining all-American status. At a regular meeting of the Ferndale City Council held July 12, 2021 in the council chambers at City Hall, 300 East 9 Mile Road, Ferndale, Michigan 48220, the following resolution was moved and seconded. Ferndale VFW Post 1407 has been granted an All-American program status. All-American status is designed to recognize outstanding units and is based on participation in VFW programs as well as membership gains by posts, districts, and departments. VFW Post 1407 has proven its commitment to the mission and vision of the Veterans of Foreign Wars organization. Their mission: to foster camaraderie among United States veterans overseas conflicts, to serve our veterans, the military, and our communities, to advocate on behalf of all veterans. Their vision ensures that veterans are respected for their service, always receive their earned entitlements, and are recognized for their sacrifices they and their loved ones have made on behalf of this great country. Therefore, be it resolved that City Council and City Government of Ferndale recognize the Ferndale VFW's enduring successes, achievements, and values that the post provides to our veterans and the community.
Thank you for reading that, and welcome, and thank you for being here. And which one is Mario, the chapter president?
Miguel.
Oh, Miguel. Well, thank you for coming, Miguel.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your support. And VFW has given out scholarships to the Ferndale school system, and we also find jobs for veterans that are disabled also. We're doing a lot in the community, but we also appreciate your support, especially for Memorial Association, because we're part of the Memorial Association.
Yes. As we talked before,
Yes.
Funny they brought that up about working on the memorial. How do we go about working with you to get that finalized is the question.
We had a conversation on Memorial Day at the memorial about the agreement between the city and the War Memorial Association. Apparently there's a timestamp about raising the funds to improve the memorial, and I think we need to get with them, the city needs to get with them to talk about next steps and options.
Yeah, through the chair, we have an open communication right now with the VFW per this resolution. I'd invite you, let's have a conversation. I'll schedule a meeting so we can review the document.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for being here, and congratulations on this designation and status. It's really great.
Sure, that's fine.
I was just thinking that same thing. I was just thinking that same thing. Thank you.
All right, we are now moving on to, oh, thank you for reminding me. May I have unanimous support for this proclamation from council?
Support.
Support.
All right, thank you. On to 5D, presentation of charitable contribution to the Ferndale Community Foundation by Robinson Brothers Homes. And who is introducing this? I think, is it Jordan Torty, or is Robinson Brothers in the house? Or via Zoom?
Through the
Mayor,
chair,
Jordan,
Jordan
a
Torty.
little bit of both. I think Robertson Brothers team is walking to the podium now. I'm joining you from the cloud, I just want to kick this off briefly. I won't steal Robertson Brothers' thunder.
Hey, wait a minute, Jordan.
Yes.
We do not see Robinson Brother individuals in the chambers.
Oh, I apologize. They may be on. I saw a head moving on the screen, so I thought that I made an assumption that that was somebody moving toward the podium. But overview, if they may be joining us via Zoom, I did get confirmation from their team that they'd be here. But this, the long and short of it is, as part of their two projects in Ferndale, the Parkdale Towns, which are the 72 townhomes near Garbett Park off 8 Mile, and the 28 single-family homes, Wilson Park Village, that they completed ahead of schedule as part of a PUD they received, I believe, in 2018. They provide a donation per home. Every time they sell a home, they provide a donation back. And when the PUD agreement was completed, the Ferndale Community Foundation was identified as the charity to receive that donation. And so this check that's in the agenda here is the final donation they'll be giving, as they have completely sold out of the Parkdale Towns. So with that, if I've bought enough time for someone from Robertson Brothers to hop on, I'd be glad to kick it to them. Or sit in awkward silence, but a check is being provided.
I think that you are the voice of God in this room tonight. And the Robinson Brothers, I know, have been here before to present, so this would have been their, I think, third or fourth check, their third check. So we will thank them for their donation to the Ferndale Community Foundation. Councilman Polika, you're still on the foundation. Would you like to say anything?
I would. Thank you, Mayor. I am the treasurer of the Ferndale Community Foundation, and Chairman Martin, former Councilman Martin, had a previous obligation, so could not be here tonight. But I did want to thank, from the bottom of my heart, Robinson Brothers for their donation. Last year was really, really difficult for a lot of communities, and the foundation relies on Ferndale Pride to raise a bulk of its money that we're able to then give out to local nonprofits. Last year in January, Robinson Brothers gave us $10,000, and then near the end of the year, they gave us another $4,600 for their other developments. And with that money, we were able to give out $21,000 last year to local nonprofits. We would not have been able to do that without the generosity of Robinson Brothers. So it really, really made a difference for us during the pandemic for those donations. And so, yeah, on behalf of the foundation, just thank you very much. And that additional money that we're getting, the rest of the money will help for this year.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you for those comments, and thank you, Jordan, for presenting this item.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
All right, the last presentation is 5E, update on the DOT retail space provided by Versa Wanda LLC. And who is joining us today? Is it Greg from?
Yeah, through the chair, I'll buy him some time to get elevated on Zoom. But we have a hybrid presentation. This will be introduced by our developer partner, Greg Ernie. He's a principal of Versa. And I will just give the brief background. When the full mixed-use project of the DOT was contemplated, our focus group feedback sought a priority to find, to maintain the small business character of our downtown and to establish the pursuit of small business tenants for the street-level retail. And Greg Ernie is leading the Versa group in curating those tenants, and we do have some some announcements to introduce today. And with that, I would like to confirm, Greg, are you on right now? Oh, there he is.
Yep, I'm here, everybody. Hello.
All right, with that, Greg, I'll hand it over to you. Make the introductions.
Great. Well, hello, everybody. It's nice to see you all actually in person, and I'm sorry I can't be there. I'm actually out of town. So, but we didn't want to delay giving you an update because we've made a lot of progress and you've been patient during this process. So we appreciate everything that you and your team has done for us, especially economic development, Joe, and everybody behind, including planning. So today we wanted to just give you an update. We have, as just a reminder, we have 15,000 square feet approximately, plus or minus, of rentable lease space on the first floor. And we have to date secured tenants for almost 80% of that, with active negotiations for the balance of it to be leased. So it will end up being 4 tenant spaces being filled. The first tenant that I wanted to make note of is My Salon Suite. And if you recall, they came in front of you for a presentation, and I don't even remember the date anymore. It's hard to keep dates straight these days. Everything seems to be moving really fast in life. About their concept, it's a salon suite concept where they actually lease space to local tenants that do all aspects of the salon business, from hair to anything that they're licensed for. So they are locally licensed. We should have a representative from My Salon Suite in the building today. I know that they were able to make it. So I can't really see what's going on in the meeting.
Greg?
They are available.
Yeah, I'm going to invite them up to the podium.
Great.
Come on up and say hello.
Yeah, that would be our first intro.
Yeah, and welcome, and we're excited to have your business in Ferndale.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Alpesh Trivedi. I'm a My Salon Suite franchisee, and thank you, Greg, for the introduction. So My Salon Suite, as Greg mentioned, is a small business incubator where we take about anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 square feet of space, and then we put individual salon suite for beauty professionals, beauty, health, and wellness, but majority is beauty. Each suite is about 150 square feet, fully furnished to execute the business for cosmetologists, estheticians, barbers, etc. And it comes fully furnished, as I said, and it's a very turnkey type of business where the small business owner, they can just come in and start with their business without too much of investment. So it's very easy for them to become a small business owner. When we did the study, we picked up this location because of its location. The vibes, I must say, the vibes here are amazing. It's very much welcoming. It welcomes diversity. I see that. I never thought I would put one in Ferndale, but I myself put one in Northville in 2017. Then another one in Clawson, not far from here, in 2018, and last year we opened one in Ann Arbor. So they're all doing successfully well. They are 100% occupied with decent waiting lists. So it again puts a lot of power to the business, small business owners. So I'm very glad we picked up this location. Great location, great value to the community. If I remember the data we presented last time, as Greg said, there are 900 stylists living in a 3-mile radius in the Ferndale area, and there are only 90 salons to support them. So each salon on an average has 6 chairs. So there are like 600 stylists who can be supported by the city right now, but we have another 300 flying away to other cities. So we will give the opportunity for those cosmetologists and estheticians and barbers and manicurists to stay within the city, add the value, and again, able to realize that dream of business ownership and grow. So I'm very excited about this opportunity. Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, we will be starting construction this summer, and I cannot wait to open our business. Thank you.
I can't wait for your grand opening, and I always say Ferndale is a great place to come look your best, because we have lots of places to help you look your best. And so thanks for joining that crew of Ferndale.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alpesh. Appreciate it. The second tenant I wanted to introduce is A&B Bridal Shop. They are actually owned by Anna Walsh. Anna was going to join via Zoom. I don't know if she asked for permission. I probably messed that up, as tech savvy as I am. But she was going to come on and do a quick intro to her company. I did provide Joe the websites for all of the tenants as well as the contact information because we're getting in touch with the DDA as well. But I guess for me to do an quick introduction, and you can go on the website as well, but Anna's concept really is she locates in areas that she finds are accommodating to, kind of progressive, very fashion forward and fashion spirited clientele. She celebrates all gender identities, expressions, presentations, backgrounds, and she really tries to create an environment where you can get an affordable wedding dress or wedding outfit with local stylists and national stylists, but she's really focused on value for the community as well as a very customized experience, almost bespoke, if you will. So she pitched me on the concept. I reviewed it with Joe and Jordan, and we really liked the idea, but especially their focus on community and what they're trying to appeal to. So that's a little bit about A&B Bridal Shop. And again, Joe can forward all the information on the contacts and the website with more information on those tenants. And then the last tenant to announce, again, there's going to be 4 tenants. The 4th tenant, we're not there yet, but the 3rd tenant is a local Grosse Pointe resident that founded a company called Quix Chocolate, Quix. This will be his first store. He's a Belgian chocolatier. He's a native of Belgium, so he's bringing his country's traditions to this store in Ferndale. It seemed when we met and we talked about the concept, he seemed to really like the idea of being in Ferndale, but he liked even better the idea of being in this location physically because of the walkability and everything that's going around. And, it's a new concept. It's supporting a brand new emerging business. We're going over floor plans now, and it's going to be a really neat place. So he does have a website, and it's coming together pretty well, but he's in the, he wasn't able to make it tonight. He was going to try, but his schedule didn't permit it to Zoom in. So I apologize for that, but it's an exciting business, and my hope is that he will pipe the smell of fresh Belgian chocolate onto the street, onto Troy Street, for everybody to enjoy.
Me too.
That's excellent. I look forward to seeing all these businesses and this new development. Very excited. We've been waiting for this moment to make these announcements. Also delayed because of the pandemic. So Greg, I appreciate you being a diligent partner and navigating the pandemic with us.
Oh, thank you. No, it's been a pleasure. And I think you're going to be happy with the outcome, and we continue to work on all the other aspects of the project too. So this is our first milestone, and we're hopeful that it's going to be what you expect from us and what you'll like.
And all 3 build-outs starting at the same time approximately?
Yeah, the landlord work's all going to probably start at the same time, and then we deliver the space. So yeah, safe to say they're all going to start at the same time.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for being here, Alpesh, and thank you, Greg, for being here as well. Please send our regards to the chocolatier in the bridal shop. We look forward to welcoming them in person.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, next is the call to audience. And we have 3 parts to call to audience now. In person, via Zoom, online, and by phone via Zoom. So bear with us as we navigate all that. We're going to start first with in person in the chambers. And there is a very large, I don't know, sports countdown that is going to be managed by my colleague, Councilman Polika. And there we go, 3-minute countdown. Again, this is a reminder that we had a resident ask for this to help residents let them know about their timing left on their public comment, so I didn't have to, interrupt. So with that, is there anybody in the audience who would like to provide public comment tonight? You guys are so generous to one another. Come on down, Jennifer.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Jennifer Young. I serve as the chair of the Ferndale Environmental Sustainability Commission, and I'm just super excited to live in Ferndale and be part of a community that embraces sustainability. It's one of the reasons that I choose to live here, and so I just wanted to thank you for having it on the agenda, a resolution to commit Ferndale to the ICLEI 150 Race to Zero. I guess mostly I just wanted to say it's an opportunity for Ferndale to demonstrate its leadership, which we know, but then making it public to everyone else. So thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Bruce Jarvie, 2427 Highland. I just want to give feedback on one of the city programs. I recently had the lead service line replaced at my house. These comments apply both to Mr. Jeffrey Weeks and to his contractors. My front yard is basically a flower garden with very thin paths of grass. The entire program started with a call and a site visit from Mr. Weeks, and then followed by the contractors. They brought in heavy equipment that couldn't possibly fit. It did, with literally inches to spare. I have pictures. They dug a hole big enough for a person between the sidewalk and the garden has a decorative rock border, and the hole couldn't possibly fit. It fit, without moving a single stone, without hurting a single plant. The operator even hand-checked for gas lines in case they had been missed by misdig. When they were working, they piled the dirt in the street. Afterwards, they cleaned it up better than I've seen after many thunderstorms. They filled the hole in the front yard so level it was like it never happened. The work and cleanup in my basement was of equal quality. I wish Mr. Weeks was here so I could say this to him in person. The people were professional, courteous, friendly, and they explained everything they did and answered all questions from this nosy engineer. I didn't want to sound like an advertisement for their company, but I and my wife were seriously impressed. Thank you on picking this company and the contractors.
Well, Mr. Jarvie, you totally surprised me with your comments tonight, and and I'm just like
a happy surprise,
overjoyed that you took the time to share a positive story with us. It really is meaningful, and I'm really glad to hear that our contractor has been so conscientious. And thank you for sharing that with us and making my evening. All right, so seeing no other comments? Dave? No? Okay. Seeing no other comments in the chambers, I'm going to hand over the reins to our Assistant City Manager, Kyle, who handles the comments via Zoom and call-in. So take it away, Kyle.
Thank you, Mayor. So, anyone who would like to speak, please go ahead and raise your hand and we'll try this out.
And will they be heard over the speaker system in the chamber?
Yes.
Like the voice of God at an event announcements? Just so everybody knows, I do not have access to Zoom, so I do not see you on Zoom online. I purposely didn't chime in so I wouldn't cause feedback and or confusion for myself.
And Mayor, I see no raised hands.
Oh,
Got it.
all right, Judy Palmer, we're bringing you on air. You're going to be caller number 4, number 2, number 3. We've had 2 in, so caller number 3.
No, 4.
4?
4? 3.
3.
Yep, go ahead, Judy. You can unmute.
Welcome, Judy.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, how are you? Can you
Excellent.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, can you just say your full name and your address?
This is Judy Palmer, 285 West Hazelhurst. I'm pretty excited about creating the Zoom and the participation in the meetings. We are going to have our first Board of Zoning Appeals meeting doing the same thing. But in the meantime, thank you, Robertson Brothers, for donating that money to the Ferndale Community Foundation. I've been on the foundation since it started back in 2000, and it's been kind of awkward not being able to do any fundraising over the last couple of years, and that's really a nice added value there. There's something else I was going to say and I forgot. Hang on. Oh, I'm noticing that a lot of people are complaining about flooding and things like that, but if people would just be conscious of the things that they can do in their homes or in the streets, making sure that the catch basins on their street are cleared, just by taking a rake or a broom to it as often as possible. The simple things about a home, every once in a while you got to snake your sewers. Look for areas around your house that the dirt is low. Build your dirt up, extend your downspouts, clean your gutters. I know that a lot of people are blaming the city on these things, and it's just sounding to me like people aren't taking responsibility for being homeowners and neighborly and things like that. So I think it's just those simple things that you can do and not complain about the flooding and just help keep the water flowing. That's all.
Thank you very much, Judy.
You're welcome.
Okay. We have no other hands, Mayor, but if we could have a member of staff raise their hand, I just want to make sure it's working. All right. I'm not going to call on the finance director, though. So, that would be everyone, Mayor.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Typically, July are slower months for public comment as everybody's on vacation, and we totally understand. But that also gives us time to practice our hybrid model. All right, I'm closing call to audience and moving on to the next agenda item, which is the consent agenda. The agenda does say public hearing, but we do not have a public hearing tonight. So I'm going to read the consent agenda items. It's another long one, folks, so stay with me and follow along. 8A, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held June 28th, 2021. 8B, approval to purchase a booking computer and live scan fingerprint system for $18,907.64 to be paid from account 101-301-977. 8C, approval to purchase medical priority dispatch system, emergency medical dispatch software from Priority Dispatch Corp. for $35,431 from account 265-000-977, drug forfeiture in fiscal year 2021-2022. 8D, approval of the long-term stormwater maintenance agreement as part of the 206 Silman Project. 8E, approval of the long-term stormwater maintenance agreement as part of the 244 Vester Project as submitted by Planning Manager. 8F, approval of professional services agreement with Plant Moran LLC to provide temporary financial assistance services. 8G, approval to purchase a 2021 Chevrolet Traverse from Berger Chevrolet with accessories to be purchased and installed by Canfield Equipment, Inc. for $39,309.08 to be financed over 4 years with Comerica Bank from account number 101-301-977.5. 8H, approval to purchase replacement mowers from Billings Lawn Equipment in the total amount of $12,599.16. The expense to be charged to General Fund Capital Outlay Vehicles, account number 101-750-977.5. 8I, approval of the 2021 Oakland County Local Road Improvement Matching Fund Program Cost Participation Agreement and Grant Award in the amount of $55,844 for 2021 road improvements to East Troy Street Board Project number 2021-9. The grant award to be allocated to local roads, account number 450-000-977.7. 8J, approval of the 2021 Rockin' Live Entertainment Performance Agreements and authorization for the Director of Special Events to execute the agreements. 8K, approval of the special event permit for Como's Pizza to host Motorball on Sunday, October 3, 2021. 8L, approval of special event permit for Broadway and the Burbs, presented by Ferndale DDA, to be held on Saturday, August 7, 2021. 8M, approval of the purchase of 12 picnic tables and 4 ADA accessible picnic tables from Premier Polysteel in the amount of $13,190 to be deducted from the general park supplies account 101-750-740.75. 8N, approval of the interlocal agreement between Oakland County and the City of Ferndale for appointments of arraignment-only attorneys in Oakland County Jail to be retroactively effective January 8, 2020, and authorization of the 43rd District Court Administrator and Finance Director to sign and execute the agreement. And finally, 8O, approval of the bills and payrolls as submitted by the City Manager's Office and subject to review by the Council Finance Committee. What say you, City Council?
I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Moved by Polika, supported by Mikulski. Madam Clerk. Do you have comments? Yep.
I did want to recognize that there are representatives here from the 8K Motorball. I don't know if they wanted to say something or if you're just here to make sure that the item gets approved. You don't have to speak about anything, but if you'd like to, you have a moment to do so.
Can you come up to the microphone, please? I think I just like saying Motorball.
Sunday.
So Motorball is an event that is put on by Geared for Life, and Geared for Life is a charity organization that holds events and parties and theater stuff and all kinds of stuff throughout the year and raises money for beneficiaries that are selected by the board at the beginning of the year. This year, the beneficiaries are Affirmations here in Ferndale, Ruth Ellis Center in Highland Park, and LGBT Detroit in Detroit. This particular approval is for one of 8 parties that happen over a weekend that coincides with Ferndale Pride. And we really think that Como's, that corner, is the most appropriate place for a Sunday daytime dance party in, the city of Ferndale. So we appreciate the approval. It raises a lot of money for these charities. I know some people get mad about the noise once in a while, but it's for a good cause. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming, and I look forward to this new event in our downtown. And folks, it's only for a day, not a whole weekend. So, all right, with that, we are moving on to, gosh, I'm just on a roll of missing votes tonight. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Mikulski?
Yes.
Councilmember Polika?
Yes.
Councilmember James?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Leaks May?
Yes.
And Mayor Piana?
Yes. All right, moving on to the regular agenda. 9A, resolution to commit the City of Ferndale to ICLEI 150 Race to Zero by reducing 2018 emissions by 63.3% per capita by 2030 and complete carbon neutrality by 2050. And who do we have introducing this for us? We have Erin.
Through the chair, Erin
Yes.
yes, there she is.
Welcome, Erin.
Good evening. I'm your voice for this item. This is Erin Quattel. I'm the Environmental Sustainability Planner. And thank you for being flexible as I present this via Zoom to you all. So this resolution formally commits the City of Ferndale to participate in the ICLEI Race to Zero program and sets science-based targets to reduce our interim greenhouse gas gases with targets for 2030 and full carbon neutrality by 2050. The Race to Zero is a global campaign. Was established by UN high-level climate champions in 2020 and is a group and rallying cry from businesses, cities, regions, investors, and so forth for a healthy, resilient, zero carbon recovery that prevents future threats, creates jobs, and unlocks inclusive, sustainable growth. The city's Race to Zero is a local government engagement opportunity within the UN initiative and is coordinated by the city network partners C40, CDP, Climate Mayors, Global Covenant Mayors, ICLEI, and others. The objective is to globally activate a decarbonized economy to keep atmospheric warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius, and this is a global movement that puts cities on tracks for the emission reductions they must achieve by 2030 and zero emissions by 2050. As you know, last year you all passed the resolution to declare a climate crisis and resolved to have a just transition to address the climate crisis. And this is just another step for us to make a bold statement and reach those goals. It also coincides really nicely with a lot of the other work that we are participating in with ICLEI. We're part of a cohort that's currently working on the Climate Action Plan, and as we approved at the last council meeting for our consultants, we're going to be beginning the planning process, which is linking to the Master Land Use Plan and the Parks and Recreation Plan updates. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions or go into any further detail.
Thank you. I'm going to take the liberty to start this conversation since I am the one asking council to actually adopt this. When I first became mayor, I knew that our next step as a community was to take a look at becoming net zero or a carbon neutral city, and that we needed partners in order to help guide us forward. And ICLEI has been a partner with cities all over the U.S. And internationally, helping explore how cities can achieve their goals. And council has prioritized the greenhouse gas inventory and a climate action plan, which are the two main activities to help you understand if you can meet these goals. But ICLEI has already adopted us into their cohort, their technical assistance we're getting, and their championing Ferndale. But I also want to be very clear about I call it the big, hairy, audacious goal. I mean, it is an audacious goal for a global community to do it, but a city of our size to do this and be a leader, doing climate, a carbon footprint reduction when there isn't a system in place regionally to help cities to do this. We really are at the forefront, and we are partnering with other cities who are taking this on, like Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor and Traverse City, and our friends up in Royal Oak, the mayor there has set a carbon neutral goal as well. So I just wanted to say that I'm proud that our council sees this vision, but also understand the hurdles and the hard decision-making and conversations to come. It really is sort of a reimagining, what our community could look like in the future, in the next 30 years, right? 30 years? And where do we really need to make critical investments that help us achieve our goals? And then finally, I wanted to say, I know that we cannot do this without partners. And we might have bumps in the road, literally, where we're like, we just don't have the investment to do that. But what could we be doing? Who could we be talking to? How can we be going at it a different way? And I expect staff to help us navigate those circumstances when and if, whatever the topic might be, we hit those bumps in the road. But I know all of you working for the last year and a half, you also take on those challenges too. So I'm just really proud that this is here on the table and that you're considering this resolution to signal our path forward. Are there any comments or I guess?
I would, through the chair. So you have stated before, rightly so, that all of us on council bring our own strengths, and this is one of your strengths. This is one of my weaknesses. So I really always kind of look to you for your expertise that you've been developing over the last several years about this. So I appreciate you taking the initiative and really pushing forward on this. As I read through a lot of these documents, it just kind of, it's a bit of a haze on some things, but some things just make complete sense to me. I do have a question that probably is directed to Aaron. So if we go to our greenhouse gas report, the Ferndale one, and go to page 4, it talks about the inventory results. And there's 2 graphs. One of them is government inventory. The second one is community inventory. Under the government inventory, I get where we can calculate streetlights, traffic signals at 1,232 metric tons of CO2. Those are stationary devices. They're always on. We know what kind of pollution they're creating. But I look at employee commute, and I think to myself, how can you accurately define that number? Some employees work in the city. I look at Justin, who rides his bike everywhere. You wouldn't consider him as someone using a car. Whereas sometimes I live 4 blocks over, 2 blocks over, and I drive my car here for a meeting. So I'm part of that 162. But employees, I know, there are employees who work in the city, so their commute is long. How can you accurately define that number at 162, or is that really just kind of an average?
Yeah, that's a really fantastic question. So what we did to calculate that figure was we did a voluntary survey that we sent out to all city staff. And we incentivized that survey by offering up with the partnership through DDA, some gift cards for the Unbox the Holidays, gift card program that we had. And so we were able to get a pretty significant, I'm sorry I don't have the figure exactly with me of how many employees responded, but that was based on the employee response to that. And questions that we asked were, in what zip code do you live in? Because we didn't want to violate anyone's privacy in that, and it was an anonymous survey. What vehicle do you drive? Make, model, year. And then there's an equivalent for every single vehicle that we can then calculate general miles traveled and what the emissions associated with their vehicle would be. And that's how we calculated that figure. So is it 100% accurate? No. But we did our best to make it as accurate as possible. And in part of the study as well, and recommendations through the Climate Action Plan, and what we're looking for as far as, making sure that we have good record for everything, is that would be something that would be incorporated at the time of the update for our greenhouse gas emission inventory as well. So if there's other things that we need to improve upon to make that a more accurate figure, certainly open to feedback and other research. But we're confident in that figure for the information and the system that we have in place for today.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I did want to say that this is a resolution to commit to this goal, but the steps to reach this goal is the greenhouse gas inventory, and you monitor that over time. And the Climate Action Plan is to make sure that the community voices are helping drive the priorities and strategies to help the areas that need lowering carbon, particularly in building and energy efficiency, transportation, and or waste as the 3 top categories that usually have high carbon output. All of this is going to be community driven, which is why the master land use plan and the capital climate action plan are so critical this year. So I asked folks to join council in participating in all of those community engagement meetings that are going to be starting soon.
Through the chair, I'd just like to chime in and thank the mayor for really pushing this forward, as well as Aaron on staff for putting this together and making it a reality. this is the kind of thing where the resolution itself, or just the resolution, would be, you know, entirely symbolic if it weren't sort of happening within a larger context of work and policy decisions. So, you know, we really started our commitment by investing in the greenhouse gas inventory so that we had the data, you know, to see what we were starting with. You know, and obviously the next very, very important step is our very first climate action plan, which is the sort of how are we going to get there. So this resolution, you know, while largely just sort of an official commitment, is really backed up by work that's being done before and after. So I'm happy to support this resolution and thank those involved who have been pushing it ahead.
And if I may, through the chair, I just want to kind of just add a little bit of a comment to that. The mayor, you actually have gone over and beyond as far as educating yourself as far as in climate action. I mean, I think you almost, I call it climate school, but you did go to climate school to.
Yeah, the accelerated course.
Yes.
Yeah, I got certified as a climate change professional last year through the Association of Climate Change Officers. I got a scholarship, and then I saw that as part of my professional career path in my field. But I by no means am I the data expert, and I will never claim to be. I will lean heavily on staff, and at the end of the day, it's up to council to prioritize what we're going to do. So I'm in listening mode.
But it's commendable that
Thank
you took
you.
it a step further.
All right, so we need a motion to proceed.
I move council resolve to commit the city of Ferndale to ICLE.
It's ICLE?
ICLE 150 Race to Zero by reducing 2018 emissions by 63.3% per capita by 2030 and complete carbon neutrality by 2050.
Support.
Moved by Polika and supported by James. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Polika?
Yes.
Councilmember James?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem May?
Yes.
Councilmember Mikulski?
Yes.
And Mayor Piana?
Yes. Now we are moving on to 9B, consideration of the approval of professional services from Fishbeck in the amount of $66,900 distributed between $10,000 for account 101-441-818 and $56,900 for account 101-371-818. And who is introducing this? Is welcome back, Aaron?
Through the chair,
Yes. Thank you. I am actually going to share my screen, and if I just want to confirm, if I share my screen, I'll be able to see it via Zoom.
In theory.
Okay, let's try it out. See. All right. So.
Success.
You can see it?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me just go in presentation mode, and I will begin. All right, here we are. So thank you. I am presenting on the Fishbeck Professional Services for the DPW Southwest Storage Yard. I also have Rick Duncan in the audience as well. He is our Fishbeck representative and will be able to answer any more of the fine-tuned technical questions from this presentation. But really briefly, I will give a quick background, talk about some of the goals for the DPW storage yard, talk about the proposal, the actual request, and then I'll open it up for discussion. So I'm gonna kind of run through this. If you have any questions, please save them for the end, and then we can have a discussion. So quick background, I'm gonna go into a little bit of depth in this because I think it's worthwhile. So in 2014, the city of Ferndale discovered that there were some methane concerns at the Southwest DPW storage yard. We notified the community immediately within a 500-foot radius around the site and notified the community via a formal letter as well as door-to-door knocking with staff and city council members. What we found was that there was an abandoned natural gas line pipeline that was kept, that was abandoned by the Consumers Energy but was subsequently kept. What we were finding is that there were still some methane concerns. So we conducted a lot of monitoring. We implemented a ventilation system to help ventilate some of the methanes for the concerns and extraction system. And we had continual monitoring. We wanted to continue the monitoring, not only for the health and safety concern of our community members, but to make sure that we're good stewards of the environment as well, making sure that we are able to come to some sort of better use for the site and remediation. So through that continual monitoring, we had additional community engagement similar to what we had originally. And we, just to give everybody an update that we're continuing to monitoring, with the monitoring, we never found anything that was leaving the site, but it was still present. So we then were looking at different uses for the Southwest Storage Yard. DPW was looking at different services that they could provide, how to improve services for our community, thinking about how to be better neighbors to both the Ferndale community and the Royal Oak Township community. And so we were looking for a consultant to help us with some of this work. Through a competitive process, City Council approved the utilization of Fishbeck. And so here we are today to talk a little bit more about what Fishbeck has to offer as recommendations for next steps. They did conduct some monitoring, and from those monitoring events, we found a few different things that we would like to improve upon, including additional monitoring and some well replacement, which we'll kind of talk a little bit in further detail here. So the goals are methane remediation and future use. How can we, remediate this environmental concern and think about how we can better utilize this space and be better neighbors to our community? We want to understand the source and eliminate the potential for any migration. So the addition of additional monitoring wells, looking at the site more holistically by conducting more due diligence and review of the site. That's really what this proposal is all about. And certainly the health and safety of our staff who are using this site every single day, as well as the community. So into this summary of the proposal, there are these tasks that are on the screen, and they are also provided in the packet. It is to install and monitor methane monitoring points. So that's the additional monitoring wells and continue monitoring. Prepare a phase 1 environmental site assessment. So that is to evaluate potential other concerns that we have with the site. It looks at things like other soil samples. It looks at prior use conditions, some of the history, and is really the foundation and preparation for future what's called a phase 2, which is part of task 6. Task 5 talks about this direct imaging. It's another testing that we could use for the site to look at exactly where the methane is located, at what depth, where it's moving. It's a very high-end technology that, again, if you want more specific detail on the nitty-gritty of the technical side, Rick can answer those questions. Then, as I mentioned, the task 6 is to conduct a phase 2. That really gets us closer to what we would need to do as far as, sampling, and then sets us up for the due care and compliance report of what we would need to do for remediation. So on the right-hand side, you can kind of see the cost of all those different tasks along the way. And then the total is $66,900. I will note that, and Rick would say this too if he has anything to add later on in the presentation, but this is, some of this could change slightly depending on what is found, particularly later on with after the direct imaging, that could change some of this. So these are just very conservative estimates of what each of these tasks would cost. And this is just in more detail, describing exactly what would happen for all of those tasks. I won't read it through. I'm happy to kind of go in depth, just like I said with Rick would be able to give more detail as well. The general timeline is here. This is how long it would take for each of these tasks. So task 3 says 1 week and 1 year because it is the installation of new wells and monitoring throughout the year. So that's where that timeline comes in. That might be, I just wanted to clarify that because that was might have been a little bit confusing. And then the rest of them is generally how many weeks it would take. This also assumes that there's no delays due to weather or any other competing, equipment or things like that. I know that there's a lot of delay in a lot of, contractors and things right now. But this is generally what we are seeing now for how these different steps would be able to be completed. And then finally, as I mentioned, this is the request. It's split between two potential accounts, and I will note that there was a note in there at the bottom of the council agenda item stating that we are looking to do a brownfield redevelopment authority refund, and if there's a better term for that, please correct me, if at the potential for any sort of redevelopment or remediation to kind of cover some of this as well. So with that, I told you I'd be very brief, but I'd love to dive into anything and go back to anything or share my screen or stop sharing my screen and have a discussion and answer any questions.
Thank you, Erin. I will now open it for questions from council to staff.
Through the chair, I think I could start. I have 3 questions, and I would start with, how is this different than previous monitoring? What sort of methane mitigation can we expect, and is there the potential to capture and resell it? And lastly, bear with me as I check my notes here. Why now? It looks like we had approved this, the initial contract with Fishbeck, back in 2002, roughly almost the same date. It's almost a year to the date. And why are we moving forward with it now? Is it something that coincides with our ICLEI carbon neutral statement?
Okay, there were several questions in there, so please help me through them, but I will answer the last one first. So we did some monitoring last year. We were looking at a variety of different things. Last year was a very difficult year for a variety of reasons, and we were looking at the additional monitoring, looking at the use, and it just happens to be that this was when we were able to get everything together and present to City Council to have a plan. So that's as far as timeline goes. It is really interesting that you bring up the connection with ICLEI. I really kind of like that because this is a source of carbon that's being emitted into our community. And by remediating this will definitely contribute to the reduction of our greenhouse gas emissions, which is fantastic. So I like that you picked up on that. The other question, I believe, was how is this different from some of the other work that we've conducted previously? And it is different in that there are additional monitoring sites that we are adding. Some of the monitoring wells that we had previously installed were damaged. The DPW yard is a very active yard, and the reality is that sometimes things get damaged and they're unable to be used. So some of it has to be replaced in that regard. And then in addition, there's several tasks in there that we haven't done yet. Previously we had worked with ASTI, which is a consulting firm that we formerly worked with on this site. And they had some discussions about potential for, other remediation type conversations, but they never really came to fruition. And in part, and please, city management team or even Jordan Forty, if you'd like to expand on this anymore, but really we didn't have any thoughts or any desire to do anything with the storage yard. We're still having those conversations, and this was kind of re-engaged after thinking about our facilities assessment. And although there aren't really many building facilities, this is a large property that the city utilizes. So looking at how to have the best use for it and, like I said, be better neighbors. So items in there that are different are the phase 1, the phase 2. Those are very technical documents that previously didn't have a proposal for, and which would be needed for any sort of site remediation or development. And I say development in the way of if we wanted to have another storage building, if we wanted to have facilities for our workers on the site, if we wanted to think about what other amenities we could have for that. So not development in the way that you would think for other developments at this point. It's really for city use. And I think that the other thing that's different is an additional imaging. I think that was task 5, I believe. And that was a more sophisticated test and way to see the migration or potential migration for methane to really get a better idea of where it's located on site and how it's behaving on site so that we could have better recommendations for remediation and strategies. I think that one of the other questions was, can we utilize the methane for any use? I did pose this question because at the time I was looking at the anaerobic digester and thinking about that, and methane can be used as a source for heating or whatever. And I don't think that the levels are to the amount that we could be utilizing. One of the conversations we had as we were kind of brainstorming ideas was potentially doing some sort of like composting situation where perhaps leaves that I'm sorry, there's some feedback. I don't know if you could still hear me. So that was something else that we were kind of thinking at. But as far as utilizing it, I don't think that's an option at this time. We could potentially look into that. But basically what I understand is that wouldn't be something that we would be able to utilize. And I don't know if there was another question. I'm sorry, I've forgotten.
That is pretty much it. Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Are there other questions from council? I had questions because I asked for a sort of a recap in an email earlier today from our city manager and Aaron about the overall monitoring and expenses from 2016 when we kind of started all of this. I'm frustrated that this problem continues, and the source of methane has been from two sources. One from consumers' energy, which took a while to figure out and get them to agree to actually, deal with their methane gas leak. And then the other one is the leaves, which apparently were composted decades ago and keeps on giving. And so I'm frustrated that this is an ongoing project, and with the 66,000 today, this will add on to the almost 48,500 that we've already spent. So this is definitely costing the city over $110,000 total so far. I mean, it needs to be done. This is a public health issue, and now carbon neutrality issue. But I'm just wondering, is there an end in sight where we aren't going to be spending more money on monitoring and remediation? Or is that just going to be forever because we're not going to extract the leaves or whatever is down there?
Oh, through the chair, I'll challenge Jordan and I'll call on him as soon as he's available. But really, to Aaron's point, we do expect to present a request for reimbursement from the Brownfield Authority. And for folks watching, the Brownfield Authority is an independent board that oversees all brownfield-related activity. And this property is a good exhibit of what a brownfield property looks like. So one of the pieces in the Fishback proposal includes a phase 1 and phase 2 study. And the phase 1 is really going to help us determine the origin through public records of what is the principal cause. And then phase 2 would also speak to that, but it also really positions us to be scrape the property, which would be required, and any cost, including these costs, would be eligible for brownfield reimbursements through the local Brownfield Development Authority and or possibly state authority, depending on the subject of the development. And the development, of course, in this case could be a city facility, as it is today, just a simple improvement of that facility. It could be a park. Literally anything that alters the ground would be a development, and anything that we do would be an eligible expense. So I think we won't really have a question about what's possible without doing this project for that parcel.
Okay, so you're telling me to pin my what's possible question until after these studies are done?
I'd say without the study, there is nothing else that's possible except the current state.
Yeah, okay.
Jordan, is that fair? Did I screw anything up?
No, Joe, you actually summed it up quite well. And if council does decide to approve this tonight, my next steps administratively would work this through the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority for that opportunity.
All right, I have one more question. I've never heard of a city requesting reimbursable funds for environmental cleanup on a property that they own using their own Brownfield Authority. that's new to me, so I will just need to have some conversations in the future about that.
Sure, that's an issue that we'll have to look at.
Okay.
As it relates to the type of project.
Yeah, it seems weird that we're going to be reimbursing ourselves out of our own reimbursable funds in a fund that we created. That's kind of how I'm seeing it, but I'm not a brownfield tax lawyer, so. But I'm trying to indicate where my head's at. So that's the conversation we'll need to have.
Yeah, we'd parking lot that until we have manager to report back.
You mean put it in the bike rack?
I'm sorry, yes, put it in the bike rack.
All right, thanks. Those are my questions. Anyone from council? If not, we need a motion.
I move that we approve the professional services agreement with Fishbeck in the amount of $66,900 distributed between 10,000 for account 101-441-818 and 56,000 for account 101-371-818.
Small correction, it's 56,900.
56,900, excuse me.
Support.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Leaks May and supported by Councilwoman Mikulski. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember James?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Leaks May?
Yes.
Councilmember Mikulski?
Yes.
Councilmember Polika?
Yes.
And Mayor Piana.
Yes. All right, we're moving on to the last agenda item, 9C, consideration to renew city self-insured coverage through the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority at a cost of $806,550.
I will be introducing that this evening. So every spring, the MMRMA, which is the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority, provides a questionnaire to update our annual, basically our annual insurance policy. So in response to that, they submit a proposal which is attached to the item we have tonight. This has been reviewed by the finance director and I. So it is to cover the city's property liability and stop loss coverage for fiscal year 2022. Our MMRMA is a self-insurance pool, so we are basically self-insured. So any excess funds come back to the city that aren't needed to provide coverage over the course of the year. And our net asset distribution is an amount that we get back towards the end of the year, and that is partially determined by how long we've been part of the MMRMA, which we've been a member since 1985, or one of the earliest members. We do have, the premium is up this year, 1.3% compared with last year, but that is including the mid-year charge for the completion and scheduling of the DOT. I do have tonight Keith Potter from IBEX Agency. He is a regional risk manager, and he is available on our Zoom call, I hope. And any questions about the item that I cannot answer, Keith will certainly be able to. Keith, are you there?
I am here. Good evening.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, Keith.
My pleasure.
Are there questions from council about this policy and renewal?
Through the chair, this is more of a request, I think, than a question on the spot. I'm familiar with MMRMA from the opposite perspective. I'm a civil rights litigator, so I've been involved in cases against other communities that are part of MMRMA. And one thing that I called Joe earlier today and asked him about, and I would like to see it at a future council meeting, is some information about claims, so that we have more information in reviewing the proposal next year, so that we have an understanding of, what types of claims are being made, what it ends up costing us out of the self-insured retention portion, how much we get reimbursed when we don't use the entire $800,000 or whatever it is. I am curious whether at some point it makes sense to have an understanding of what this coverage costs versus, you know, the more traditional outside insurers. It's my general understanding that this tends to be a better cost savings, but it would be nice to have some concrete information for next year in order to make that assessment. I'm comfortable moving forward tonight based on my own general knowledge, but I think it would be helpful in the future to have some more concrete information.
Sure. I actually do receive a monthly report on what we are paying out, and I'm happy to share that with council. That's not a problem.
That would be great.
Yeah, I get that every month and just kind of file it, so yeah.
And we certainly, being a public entity, we would share, whether it's just with Ferndale or general claim information about all the members of the MMRMA with Ferndale in the council and administration, so that there is a full understanding of the MMRMA structure and how it benefits the city of Ferndale.
Great.
This is Cheryl. I would just like to add that we have an annual meeting with Keith and Marnie, and if that would be something you'd be interested in attending, it just kind of does we do a quick overview, talk about any funds that might be coming back. Ferndale is very fortunate because they've been in the system for so long. We get a larger portion back when funds aren't used, like a shareholder would. But if it would interest you, I think it would be a great process for one or two of you to sit through that meeting with us.
Yes, please.
Very informative.
Yeah, and I would enjoy that.
I offer to sit on that meeting too. As an aside, I'm the chair of the Oakland County Public Transit Authority, and we also purchase liability insurance through the MMRMA, so I will take the opportunity to learn more. The OCPTA never has any claims, so we don't own anything. We'll need the insurance. Thank you for those questions. Other council members? All right, we need a motion.
I move to approve the renewal of the city's coverage with the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority at the cost of $806,550 to be charged to account 101-940-914.000, then spread to appropriate funds, and to authorize the city clerk to execute the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority coverage proposal and stop-loss participation agreement as submitted by the city clerk.
Support.
Moved by Polika and supported by Mayor Pro Tem Leaks-May. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember James?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Leaks-May?
Yes.
Councilmember Mikulski?
Yes.
Councilmember Polika?
Yes.
And Mayor Piana?
Yes. And that concludes our regular agenda item, and we're moving on to call to council. First up, I will just start along at the edge of the table with Councilwoman Mikulski. Oh, man, I really thought I had this down pat. Always, I forget the staff updates, sorry. Moving on to Joe, our city manager, to have the updates from department heads.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll start, we'll follow public comments queue. So are there any staff in attendance who wish to give updates? There's only 4 of you, Bueller. Fire Chief Teresa Robinson, her first in-person meeting.
Oh, that's right.
Welcome.
Welcome. It's good to see
So
you.
welcome, everybody. So I know last week recently we've had a stream of storms and we've had quite a few wires down and some questions, people trying to remember the proper thing to do. So just as a reminder, if you ever have an incident of wires down, don't try to go to investigate yourself to see if it's cable, if it's power line, whatever. Go ahead and stay in a safe place, stay a safe distance, call 911, let us come out, the fire department will come out and investigate. We'll figure out what it is and make the proper notification so it can be corrected. If there's dangers to neighbors, then we'll make sure that they're notified also. One of our council members did experience that with us during these storms. But again, the biggest thing is we want to keep everybody safe. So stay back, stay safe. Don't touch fences or anything else that might be in contact with it. And let us come out and do what we got to do. And we'll put it on consumers' notification list. You can also report online, but I would still call us so we can, again, assess for hazards and make sure we can keep our community safe. So nice job, everybody, through the storms. I know there was a lot in, a short time of us kind of getting hit, and appreciate the community just staying safe and doing what they got to do and making the calls to report things.
Thank you, Chief. Next, we have virtual Dana Tosick with some updates on DPW.
Good evening tonight, Mayor and Council. You all look lovely back in your normal council places.
Welcome, virtual Dan.
I just wanted to give a quick update on our projects. One, I am still wiping the tears from my eyes from that heartfelt comment about our lead service line program. Take note, all of the residents who we're sending notifications to. Our second group of notifications went out just the other week for scheduling, and production is moving along quite well with that program. We are well over the 200 replacement mark so far at this time, and we are continuing to do so each day. So if you do receive that notification for us, please reach out to Jeffrey. He is very pleasant. He has a passion for gardening. So if you do have quite a bit of, whether it's natural landscaping, very rare flowers and plantings in your front yard, we will be very kind to them. So please reach out to us, return those access agreements and so on. Additionally, our water main project's moving along quite well for the weather that we have been getting. So just with our road projects and our water main projects, the weather does have an impact on us. So we haven't been able to have the production as we would like over the last few weeks, but as Mother Nature allows, we will get work completed in a timely fashion. And additionally, West Marshall is pretty much complete. We have a few punch list items, but the top course paving has been completed. The pavement markings are done. The bioswales are in place, and we are pretty much happy to open that back up to two-way traffic. So that was completed over the weekend, and it's a pretty good looking road. If you have the chance, take a bike ride down it with the new bike lanes that have been painted on, or take a ride in your vehicle, or walk the sidewalk and take a look at the bioswales, which are something new that we have been working to install more green infrastructure with Aaron, and take a look at what we have out there, because you will see more to come in the future. And that's all I have tonight, Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next, we have Captain Spellman representing the Police Department.
Thank you, Joe. Good evening, Council. I only have one announcement tonight, and that has to do with the Chiefs Street Corner Roundtable that was previously canceled due to rain. It's going to be rescheduled for Wednesday, July 21st. The times and locations are still being confirmed, but we will be putting them out tomorrow on our social media. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. And next, our City Clerk, Marty.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, I wanted to announce a number of openings that we have on city boards and commissions. We have multiple vacancies on the Accessibility and Inclusion Advisory Commission, as well as the DDA. And we also have single vacancies in the Board of Zoning Appeals, Board of Review, Construction Board of Appeals, and the Planning Commission. We do accept applications through the 15th of the month, so there are still a few more days for interested folks to get their application in. So we are strongly encouraging folks to step up if they have an interest in any of those boards and commissions. And I just wanted to do a quick kind of election update. So next week is our filing deadline for City Council. Tuesday, the 20th at 4 p.m. is the end. And after that, what happens is after we've got the ballot or the candidates finalized, then provide that information to the county. They provide a ballot for us. We will be sending out applications, AV applications in mid-August, and then our ballots will become available after September 18th. But I did just want to talk a little bit about all of the talk about voting rights and legislation that's going around right now. So there are a number of pending bills. There's 39 pending bills right now in the legislation that have to do with elections and voting rights. The Senate has passed 3 bills that are restrictive of our voting rights. At this point, they haven't been passed fully through the legislation. The governor has vowed to veto those when they do come to her. And, I am very, it bothers me that there is so much talk about AV voting and ID voting laws not being sufficient, because we do take very great pride in really working hard to make sure that everybody complies with election law. And if you don't have an ID, you're absolutely welcome to vote with the affidavit. Some of the pending legislation would require those folks to vote by a provisional ballot, which is kind of a cumbersome process, and the system isn't broke, so there's no need to fix it, but they're trying to. So anyways, I just wanted to say that if anything does come along and we do have any firm changes to our AV voting, that we will absolutely be communicating those through the communications online. I would do like a little mailer, get that out, just so that everyone is aware that there's a change in our processes. But at this point, it's still what it has been in the past. So that is the program that we're working on now. And I would absolutely encourage any community members to contact me if they have any questions or concerns. I am here to be your neutral election administrator. I am happy to answer questions. I don't get offended if you have stuff to throw at me, throw it at me. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that I'm happy to be a resource here for folks, and that any changes will be notified right away. Thank you.
Thank you, Marnie.
If I may, through the chair, ask the city clerk. Do you know of the deadline for, say, new voters for this election, first-time voters?
Well, actually, now that Prop 18.3 passed, people can register to vote right up to and on Election Day. So they can register here up until 8 p.m. on Election Day and still vote.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I have another one in my household, so we'll see you.
Send them on down.
It's good to hear.
Next, we have the Director of the DDA, Lena Stevens.
Good evening, everybody. I think this hybrid model is working great, so congratulations. I just wanted to officially invite you to Broadway in the Burbs on August 7th. There's going to be performances at 2 p.m., 4 p.m., and 6 p.m. And this will be the first time that we've experimented with closing Troy Street, West Troy Street, from the parking deck entrance to Allen Street. So we're really looking forward to it. And several city departments have actually signed on with us to have a tent. So I've heard a little birdie tell me that the fire department has a giant inflatable fire hydrant that sprays water. So that might make an appearance. We'll see. So we're really excited about that. It's in partnership with a new Ferndale organization called Michigan Stage. You might see them partnering with Go Comedy on some summer youth programs and things like that. So Tim Pare and Michigan Stage, we just feel super lucky, and it's going to be really exciting. We're super excited to host my first DDA event that was, started completely new and fresh. So excited. We also just wrapped our final report to Oakland County for the restaurant relief grants, and I wanted to provide you just a quick overview. Essentially, at the end of the day, we have provided 47 restaurants citywide with some type of support through that program, and we are very grateful to the county for it. So we just finished with $45,000 of mini grants to 29 businesses, most of them for about $2,000, but some folks weren't eligible for the full amount for one reason or another. But we funded things like patio updates, Red Hook for their walk-up window, Treat Dreams, their walk-up window, things like that. We were able to reimburse them for at least a portion of that cost, which felt really good. Jordan has an additional 5 restaurants that he's included in the Open in Ferndale Business Promotion Program, and they will receive $14,000 of support from that grant over the course of 6 months. And then an additional 14 businesses received supplies. And this is even on top of the PPE that Oakland County was giving out throughout the early stages of the pandemic. So just wanted to put that out there, that we're incredibly grateful for that program that was targeted right to our restaurants, which is obviously an important industry here in Ferndale. So very excited about that. Final note is you're going to start hearing hopefully soon about something called the DDA Possibilities Plan. So this is actually the new name for the vision plan that many of you may have been aware of, that was created with Hamilton Anderson. It's got some new life, and the idea is for us to look at possibilities and not necessarily get locked down into what is and isn't possible right in the moment, but think about what if and answer some big questions, while also looking at practical things that we can handle in the downtown right now, and maintenance and things like that. So we're going to be digging into it in detail in the next DDA board meeting on August, I believe it's 8th. I'll make sure it's on your calendar. We do meet at 8 a.m., so I know that might be a deal breaker for some of you, but we'd love it if you could join us as Hamilton Anderson presents that and get into some of the details. And staff who are listening, I'm going to be sharing it with you too, probably tonight. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Lena. And our office will close the remarks. Really looking forward to the introduction of Broadway downtown. I will be there with my amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Had to take that opportunity. I want to just first give credit to everybody who organized a successful first virtual hybrid meeting. It's been excellent. So to staff and to Josh Womer, who's in the back there, making sure all this succeeded well. Thank you, Josh. And thank you, everybody else, notably Kyle as well, for moderating another successful hybrid meeting. Not another, our first of many successful hybrid meetings to come. So thank you. And then finally, just an update from the city manager's office. We have successfully submitted our documentation to the state to petition for the reimbursement from ARPA funds from the federal government. We are the last served because we're a smaller community, so we just got our formal invitation to apply at the end of last week. We've submitted our documentation, so we hope for transfer of funds. I'm working with staff on a general public polling opportunity to explore the best use of those funds. So again, we have time to actually expend those funds. So the important thing was making sure we submitted the documentation to actually receive them. So check. And those are the updates from the city manager's office. I apologize. I missed that in the thread. Lorena or Emmanuel, I missed that. I apologize. Who from Parks is on tonight?
Hi, this is Lorena. I just have one quick update. Just wanted to announce that this Friday we are going to have our movie in the park at 7 p.m. It's a free event, and we'll be showing Raya, the Last Dragon, and again, it'll be at 7 p.m. at Harding Park. You just bring your lawn chair or blanket. We'll also have some food vendors there and lawn games to play before the movie. So the movie will start promptly at 8, and the lawn games and free time will start at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Kyle, did I miss anyone else? Okay, good.
Hey, don't worry, I miss you almost every meeting, so. It happens. All right, thank you so much, everybody on staff. And now we'll start at my right side here. Councilwoman Mikulski, for call to council.
Thank you, Mayor. I only have one item tonight. I wanted to make sure that community members are aware of a SEMCOG survey out there. The future of parks, trails, and recreation. It's a priority survey. The easiest way to find this, since it is kind of buried on social media, is by going to the SEMCOG website, search for that name, Parks, Trails, and Recreation, so that you can weigh in and put out some of your priorities and your community priorities for what you would like to see for the future of parks.
Thank you. Councilwoman James.
I'm going to reorder my my three items to bounce off of what Councilwoman Mikulski just talked about. While you're at the SEMCOG website, I encourage you to explore their map gallery. I'm our SEMCOG delegate. I have sat in on a couple of seminars over the last several months, exploring some of the tools on their map gallery. And there's some really fascinating information that is very helpful from a public policy perspective to see what the needs and challenges are throughout the region. But I think residents might be interested in the information as well. So while you're there looking for the parks survey, look for the map gallery. There's a map on equity emphasis, there's a map on access to parks, a map on access to transit, and one that's especially fascinating given everything that we've experienced in the last year plus. There's a broadband availability map, which, you know, given, again, what we've all gone through, access to broadband and not just, you know, having it exist, but having it be affordable and stable and potentially multiple providers accessible is really important moving forward. I would also like to echo the city manager's sentiments and thanking staff for the success of this hybrid meeting. I know that it's complicated to facilitate, so thank you, Kyle and Josh, for doing the heavy lifting to make this seem so easy. I don't know about folks at home, but here it's been pretty seamless. It's a little weird when disembodied voices enter the room. I don't know where to look if there's nothing on the screen. But I think it's really important that we balance accessibility to these public meetings, you know, with the interest of having, you know, in-person connection. I urge people who are watching at home, if you're comfortable, if you're able to, please join us in person if and when you can. But I also very much appreciate that we are able to continue to make these meetings accessible for those who can't for a variety of reasons. And lastly, I just want to let folks know that last week we had an anti-racism update, sort of an extension of what was discussed at the last council meeting, and a discussion with members of the public where we got to get into much greater detail. We talked for just short of 2 hours. The video is still available. The production quality is terrible because I just did it through my phone on Facebook Live, but you can actually hear the discussion and see some of the comments of people who weren't able to attend. I apologize that Facebook is the only format that it's available. I know that that leaves folks out if you're smart enough not to be on Facebook, and I commend you for that, but it's all I've got right now. So I will continue these community conversations. This was the second that I've done, and this one was co-hosted by the mayor. I haven't decided on the topic for the next one, but I'm going to aim to do something, probably September, October. I've got some ideas. If you've got ideas, please reach out to me, kjames@ferndalemI.gov. Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, so just something that I kind of came across perusing Facebook, which I shouldn't be on, like you said. But it's someone that I know, one of my Facebook friends posted something that I had no idea about. It was called Michigan Shot to Win. And if you don't know about that, that is, you can register for a sweepstakes if you had your shot, your first COVID vaccine shot between a certain amount of time. And I have the website here so that you can go and register online at this website, or you can also call in a phone number. So the website is mistowin.com to register, or if you don't have access to a computer, you can also call 888-535-6136. You press 1, and that line is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Once I found out about it, I actually registered every single one of my family members. So, and then I also sent it to family members who probably didn't know about it. So that's just something that, why not? Why not enter and win some cash for doing something that is for the good of the healthy community. Also, I just want to say that I'm so happy to see all of you. And I'm glad to be back, and I look forward to continuing our work in person. It's great to see all these faces, so feels good. That's it.
Thank you.
Oh, you have it up there.
Yeah, I registered for my shot to win last night.
Yes.
Got my whole family signed up.
That's right.
You can win $1 million to $2 million by August 3rd. And then there's a daily drawing for 50 every day.
And then scholarships. Oh, that's the scholarship one.
Yep.
Yes.
So the deadline is nearing soon to register.
Yes.
But thank you for that reminder. Councilman Polika.
I actually didn't have anything, but I'm going to bounce off of what you've just been talking about. A lot of people are concerned about their personal information. When you register for that site, you don't enter really any personal information.
Right.
I think you enter your name and an email address or phone number. But they're not asking you for your shot number. They're not asking for a copy of your card. Probably if you win, they're going to ask for, them to be able to see that. But, a lot of people are concerned about their privacy and their private information, and they ask very little information on the site.
They do ask for the date of your first shot. You do have to
Yes,
put that
yes,
in.
they do ask for the
That's
date
it.
of the first shot, yes. But they don't ask for the shot number or any of that stuff, or, if it's Moderna or what have you. Welcome back, everybody. It's great to be back in here. It's great to be able to be seen because I don't have a camera on my computer. So it's great to be with all of you in person.
Yes, I agree with all of that. And so closing out, I only have one announcement. It's not as exciting as Motorball, but I do invite you to the State of the City tomorrow at Affirmations. And I may start it with the vuvuzela. I may not. You just need to come and see how I start the State of the City. I really look forward to interacting with all of our boards and our volunteers on our boards and commissions, and championing where the city's going, and maybe tooting this horn in real life. So with that, I hope to see everybody tomorrow night, starting at 6. Speechifying at 7, and hanging out and reconnecting before and after. So with that, my gavel is back in use. It's 8:53. I call this meeting. Good night, everyone.
Does that have to be done here? Or to censor it?